$31,952.42. We're responsible for any overage as well, 10%, but they're usually pretty close on their numbers on these projects like this. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention because it's kind of play into the next deal.
Okay, so do we typically pay them up front then before the work's done and?
On that RDOT state aid, they want their 10% up front, and from what I understand, their contractor, they do similar to us. They give as many days as they can in a year to kind of let a contractor schedule it in, and it seems like you get a better price that way. So,
Okay.
but they tell me it's supposed to complete at some point this year.
Okay, so this one works. They do the contracting, they do the bidding, they're
They
doing
do it all.
every
They
bit of
do the
that.
oversight. It's their project. in
Okay,
a sense,
okay, I got you.
To
That's
get
not,
to-
that's not normal for what we deal with, is it? Have I been asleep for 15
On
and a
the,
half
on the
years?
state aid, that when every one of these state aid grants we've gotten have acted, operated just like this one. We had, one year where they did, Cato Road and Jacksonville Cutoff. And then the next time we got it, they did Wildwood and Kellogg Road. And they administrate and oversee the whole project.
Gotcha. Well, Shelby said he was gonna go ahead and write that check, but he didn't get the envelope, so he let the city do it.
Well, I don't blame him.
That's exactly what I see.
So if there's any more questions on that page?
None here.
All right, well, the next page you'll see that's a list of the streets that we put out for bid. It's the estimate, and then we've keyed in the actual bid prices to where it comes real close to what the bid was $1,204,000. The page behind that, well, I guess I'll cover that. With this $1,204,000 and the $31,952 that we paid RDOT, that puts us at about $1,236,000.
Okay.
We've got a $1,000,003 budgeted in our street improvement line this year. So the next page it's 3 more roads that's directly attached to Oak Brook, which they're going to be paving there. I'm going to ask that they add that to their project, which will add about another $50,000 to it. That'll put us about $15,000 shy of our target number. There's typically some overages in these projects, so I feel like we ought to come in pretty close with the addition of those roads.
Okay. Yeah, and that'd still be just right at, a little bit under budget.
Right. Yeah, it's about 15,000 or so shy of budget.
And Brian, are you still using the, I forget the name of the group and the program that does the road assessments and?
Certainly. Yes,
Okay,
we're
and
still
is
using
that
it.
where most of this comes from?
That's where all of the streets are selected from, is the rating and the ranking of it. As a matter of fact, this spreadsheet that's, with the colors on it's part of that program. This other spreadsheet that's just on Excel, it's something that we do a lot of times just for estimating smaller things. But this spreadsheet's out of the program. We actually had them, the information we had in there was about 3 years old. We had them go through and reevaluate all the streets in December last year, so we're dealing with new information.
Gotcha.
Up-to-date information now.
So, I appreciate this, and that's about 5 miles of road if I've done my calculations right. Adding the feet and.
Yeah, it's probably, I haven't even run those numbers yet. I usually run them towards the end of the year, but yes, real close. Looking at that total length, that's about right there on the money with 5 miles. Of course, that wouldn't be including Trammell Road.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Trammell's at state
true.
aid.
Well, and the reason I even asked that, I mean, it seems like, years ago when we were kicking, the overlay program back up, we were trying to get to about 10 miles a year is what we really needed to keep up with the needs of our streets, et cetera. Is this been pretty close to what we've been hitting every year, or?
Really close,
Okay,
really close. That being said, now that we've been measuring those streets, and this is a third measurement where we've had First Step Pavement Management come in and measure the conditions of the streets. It doesn't look like we're gaining a lot of ground, but we're not really losing a lot either. We're kind of, overall, we're not doing bad. We could always do better, but,
gotcha. Okay. Is there any action you need this committee to take? I mean, it sounds like you've awarded that and you've got everything moving forward according to budget, so.
yeah,
Looks pretty solid.
not on those items. Those are pretty straightforward, and like you said, the money's already budgeted, so that's all in motion.
Hey, Brian, is this list like the order that they'll go in, or will they take the biggest one to?
The order it'll be their superintendent when he comes out and gets ready to mow, how he thinks he needs to play his cards. I usually don't get into that part of it. My main things when he starts an area, we clump these things into different areas to put as few of mobs in there as possible, because mobs drive the cost up. But as long as he gets into an area, I want him to finish that area up before he gets into another one.
Yeah.
But I don't really pick and choose on how they lay their job out. Unless there's a school or something on
yeah.
one of the roads, but I don't
Try to
think
get it done
any of
soon.
these roads, that's gonna be a factor this year.
Okay.
Okay, anybody have any other questions, thoughts, concerns before we move on? Okay, we'll move into old business. Sales tax updates, our projects here. I think everybody's got a sheet in front of them. So Lon, you mind walking us through how things are going?
Things are going pretty good. Had a lot of delays with the rain lately. Can't play in the mud. They've got the first section of the detour road section built, and they've got it filled with fill, and they're going to be paving that, I believe, in 2 weeks for the detour road. When they get the detour road done, they'll do the other sections of the bridge. So that's moving right along.
I got you.
Most of the obstacles that have been in the way for the drainage pipes have been remedied. First Electric, we still have fiber optic cables up on the poles that need to come down, and I believe we discussed that with Verizon. As soon as those come down, they'll start doing the groundwork for the multi-use path. That's phase one. Phase two, we're moving along with some acquisitions. It says required tracks 25, 6 offers agreed to. That changed today with 7. We got another one today. So that's moving right along. As soon as we get done with all that stuff, we'll start moving some utilities.
Okay, good deal. Anything out of the ordinary or extraordinary that we need to be aware of, or we need to give praise for, or?
We're gonna have to get several appraisals done so that we can adequately compensate the people. That's gonna cost a little bit of money to do, but it's required, so. We've got one house left to purchase. We've gotten 2 appraisals done, and the homeowner is kind of not agreeing to our price. So Mr. Cobb has been looking into condemnation and eminent domain on certain parts. We still have the property that's nothing but a drainage ditch. It's appraised at $9,000 and they want 30. So we're kind of way off on that one. But all in all, going pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have questions, concerns before we move on?
Before you get out of old business, there's another page in there with the stuff that we had there. It had the Laramie Drainage Project bid tab. It was in there in that package of pages that had the stuff with the overlay program. It's pretty small print because we had so many bidders. It's an Excel spreadsheet. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention just to kind of update you that it went out to bid. We had 10 different companies bid on it. A very large spread in price, but the low bidder was Worcester Construction. Notice of award's been sent to this contractor. They've done about 3 sidewalk projects for us and performed well. I expect they'll probably perform well on this job also. You know, with this bid number, it came in under the engineer's estimate by a pretty good bit, but it's a $249,180 as opposed to what we appropriated for the project. That puts us about $139,323 under budget.
Yeah, that was the question I was gonna ask, have we done work with them before? Because that is a nice spread, and
We have,
don't
you know,
always mean,
I agree.
that's a nice spread.
It's a big spread, but he felt comfortable with his numbers and thinks he
Okay.
can do it. You know, he's a smaller guy. His mobs probably don't cost him as much. He's got a little batch concrete truck that
Okay.
probably keeps him from having to buy short loads. I don't have a whole lot of other explanation for it than that, but, you know, heck, I think we got to give the guy a shot because,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he's been easy to work with and worked well with us on the sidewalk projects and at that price.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, so do we have any kind of timeline from him on what his schedule looks like or what he's gonna try to do?
We don't yet. We're at the point of, you know, he got the notice of award, and so now he's getting his insurance paperwork and bonding and everything together. You know, we haven't actually signed contracts with him yet, but we should maybe have a good idea on that by the next meeting.
Gotcha. Okay, good deal.
But I think we're gonna hit right there in that good time. You know, we want it to be good and dry before he starts. He'll make less of a mess, be able to work faster, and so I think the timing will probably work out, I hope.
Yeah, good deal. I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all moving quick on that too. That's been a long time in the wings, so. Okay. Next, under old business, the Phase 2 street projects. Belinda, I'm gonna ask that you just remove that from the agenda. You know, I mean, we talked about that at our last meeting. There's just, you know, not a lot of funds, you know, available, and we still got some big stuff out there that we need to get cleaned up and finished first. So, we'll just take that off of the agenda. And, is there any other old business that we need to discuss before we move on? Okay, we'll move on to new business. First item, it's got your name beside it, Mr. Galloway.
Yes, sir. The next page in that package of pages that you just got done looking at, we've got a bill from First Electric. You know, there's been a number of complaints of how dark Brockton Road is. This is kind of the first leg of it with First Electric. Finley's worked with them, you know, evaluating what type of light fixtures they use, the amount of light they put out, done some engineering work and determined what we actually need there to properly light the road. And that was sent to First Electric. They put together this bill of what it cost to do, you know, what we've asked them to do. And, of course, they've wrote a lot of the labor off. All they're really asking the city to pay for are the additional metal poles that they're gonna have to put up, and they're gonna change out 26 of the high-pressure sodium lights to LEDs. They want us to, you know, bear the expense of the fixtures to do those change outs. But, you know, it comes to $26,851.36 is our part. Now, we had put some money in the budget last year, carried it over to this year because this has been quite a process trying to figure out who to talk to and how to get where we need to be. And me having really no idea of what we needed, what the equipment cost, you know, I put a $15,000 just kind of earmarker spot in the non-capital items in the budget. And that falls quite a bit short of covering this $26,000 on this first leg of it. And would like the, you know, the council, or y'all to take the council, you know, to appropriate additional $12,000 to that non-capital items budget line to cover this. You know, if it comes to a question of money in the street fund to cover it, we just covered in the Laramie Drainage Project. We're gonna be well under budget on that appropriation. I mean, there's plenty of money in the fund to cover it anyway, but just to make it simple.
Okay. And what does this get us? Where are we talking about on Brockington Road?
This
From
gets us,
where to
all
where?
right, so First Electric's territory begins roughly at the most eastern entrance of what I would call Sherwood North, which would be just east of Gap Creek, you know, the subdivision that circles through there. It's real easy for me to tell when I drive Brockington Road, the light poles, they change from energies or direct bury. They just bury in the ground. Then when you get to the First Electric, they're bolted down to a concrete pedestal. And it changes right there about if you're coming from Keel, about when you pass the last driveway to North Quarter Apartments.
Okay,
It's right in there, Victory Baptist area, I guess,
okay,
is where it changes. So that'll get us from there to Highway 107. And we're in the negotiations and the works right now with Energy, trying to figure out what that plan looks like.
got, so from there back the other direction?
All the way back to Kill would be Energy.
Gotcha. Okay. So, I guess, okay, 55. Okay, so that detail's here, I got it. Okay. Would certainly entertain a motion to add the 12,000 to the budget for upgrading the lights on Brockington.
I'll motion that.
We've got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. So we've got a motion, we've got a second. Is there any other discussion or any further questions?
I got one. So once we install these, will they take over the maintenance on them once they're installed?
They take over maintenance.
Okay.
You know, we pay a monthly fee for
Yeah.
our light
Yeah.
after they're installed. You know, of course, the additional monies for the monthly fee is, I think, about $300 a month for the lights that'll be added. Yep, that'd be
Yeah.
LEDs. But we pay a monthly fee, and if anything's wrong with them, they have to be repaired. First Electric handles all of the maintenance.
Okay.
So this is a combination too of, I guess, supplemental poles and replacement of existing fixtures.
That's correct.
Okay, any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record reflect unanimous passage there. Next on our new business list is the sidewalk between Casey's and Amy Sanders Library. Mr. Warnicki, that's got your name beside it.
That section of the sidewalk has never been completed from Amy Sanders to the back of Casey's. It's about 165 feet long, and the students have worn a path. And with the rainy season, they're also tracking all the mud on their feet. So I think that with school ending, we have all summer to get that sidewalk built.
I got a question. I don't mean to throw the district under the bus, but is that one of the areas that they were supposed to complete, like, as part of their construction for that new school?
No,
Okay.
no, this is I believe it's owned by
I
McKinney.
just remember there being some discussions about that. I was just
Right, that particular area though, to further answer your question, whoever buys that property and develops it would be responsible for building the sidewalk when it's developed.
If ever, yeah.
Sooner or later it'll develop, but,
Yeah.
and, you know, but that's just something else to add to it there.
Yeah, all right.
So any estimates on cost or would we be expecting that if someone does buy and develop that they would, they would reimburse that cost, or that would be, we would just eat that, right?
I think you'd end up eating that, because more than likely, whoever buys it and develops it's gonna tear up most of what you put in, depending on how they grade their lot and where they put the
Right.
driveway entrances and travel over it during construction. They're gonna end up pretty much totally reconstructing the sidewalk more than likely when they develop it. Because I feel like that part would probably develop commercial.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want us to get a price on that?
Yeah, I'd like, I mean, it doesn't look like it's that big of a stretch of area. I'd like to get some, idea of what that would cost. But I think, Lon, you're spot on. I mean, now's the time to get after that and get that done. And I wouldn't think, I know that's got kind of a downhill grade to it, but I mean, from north to south, I mean, there's not a lot of this. I mean, it ought to be a pretty flat. So I would not expect we would have to spend a whole lot on engineering on that. I mean, just my thoughts off the top of my head, but, yeah, I would love to have an idea of what that would cost us.
Okay.
I guess the next step on the sidewalks, I wanted to add something to it. It's not actually on the agenda, but we'd like to ask this committee for support on the completion of the Indian Head Lake sidewalks. And what I mean by that, we would like to put in, and there's a page that I gave you that has a cost estimate, but we're wanting to throw that into the ring for the TAPS grant. I think it's due here within the next month or two, and see if we can get that 80-20 money to do this project. This would kind of finish up this Indian Head sidewalk project in large part. It would also connect it to the regional trail. That's one of the motivators behind throwing it towards the TAPS grant, is because it'll connect it to the regional trail. That's supposed to help in the grant being awarded to us. If we could get the 80-20 money, we could potentially build this project for a little over $100,000.
And is that the Davidson Engineering page?
Yes, sir. Davidson Engineering.
Gotcha.
That is it.
Yeah, I would like to see that area finished out as well. I think without the grant money, that's going to be slow in coming, though.
That's going to be tough without the grant money. I mean, if you look at this drawing he's got, I know it's kind of hard to see on this last page. It's the yellow part is what we're talking about completing. There's a red portion of the sidewalks that haven't been built in Indian Head, but that's just kind of a place marker for some other day. But everything in blue has been constructed so far that kind of gets you from the front end of Indian Head to kind of midpoint, and this yellow portion would take us on to the spillway area there where it could connect up with that regional trail.
And Councilmember Lee, I want you to know that, I mean, we didn't just look at one option, and Finley and Bear sat down and evaluated like Seminole and a couple of others. I'd mentioned to you that we would look at different ones, and this is the recommendation that both Bear and Finley, looking at, felt like we had the best chance and would be the most cost-effective. So I
Gotcha.
didn't want you to think that this was the only thing looked at, because it wasn't.
Okay. So, what is it that's needed from this committee on this?
Just that you're with us, your support, and moving forward with applying for the TAPS grant.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, so, I mean, I guess that, I mean, just for the record's perspective, then, I would entertain a motion that we approve for the submission of the TAPS grant.
I motion that.
We've got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
And we've got a second. Is there any other discussion or question? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So you have this committee's support, Mayor. Thank you. So that is our agenda. Is there any other new business that we need to bring up before we dismiss? Mr. Brown, did you have something for this committee?
As several of you know, I've had issues with the drainage coming off the Jacksonville-Cato Road project. When the city purchased that property back in 18, 19, somewhere in there, after it was leveled off and cleared, I had to put roughly $6,000 into my driveway to bear the additional drainage coming off of that property. Since then, I've maintained the driveway. I haven't complained to the city one bit about it. I haven't asked for a dime on, improving my driveway up until this point. So with the new road construction going through, the agreement was my driveway would be improved to match the drainage coming off the road. The drainage surveys all showed a significant increase of water. About a month ago, I guess it's 2 months ago now, with the way the construction companies have the barriers set up, the silt fences, the rock dams, it dumped a lot of water on my driveway back in March and ended up flooding over the driveway and starting to wash it out. I did ask, hey, can somebody come out here and patch it up, fix it, do something. So I initially reached out to Tracy. Tracy told me he had talked to him. Came back, said, well, that's Lon's project. Talked to Lon about it. And, Lon said, okay, I'll talk to him and get back to you. The answer I was given was, they're not going to fix it. And he left it at that. Personally, I don't think that's an acceptable answer. This is damage caused directly from that project. The city's already agreed that they're going to improve the driveway where this flooded at. All I'm asking is, who is going to take care of this between now and the time it's done? There's a lot more work to be done crossing my property. We've got a lot more rainy days ahead. I just want smooth access in and out. I'm not asking to have it paved, concreted. All I'm asking is, when the driveway washes out, floods over, just smooth it out so we can get in and out easy.
So I think, you and I have talked and traded text on this, and I think, and I've talked to Lon and several others too, and I think, with the road improvements, they've done some improvement on your driveway as well. And I understand that right now you're in good shape. Is that accurate?
Today I am.
Okay.
My concern
So-
is, and the reason I'm here, is what's it going to look like in a year from now? What if something happens down the road? I want something to fall back on and say, well, you remember when we sat down at the street committee meeting?
I don't have any idea, Mr. Brown, what agreement was signed between you and the city or what all was agreed to there, but I think, as it relates to the road construction and the final delivered product, the city is supposed to deliver what y'all agreed upon. And,
Correct.
I don't want to oversimplify this because I'm not in your shoes but I think at this point, everything has been taken care of. There is there was an issue earlier when there was some big heavy rains and what have you, and you had a problem. But I think you're in good shape now, and I think, the city kind of owns that until that road construction project is finished. And once it's finished and that final project is delivered, I mean, then it's back to you. I
Then it's
mean,
my- then it's
am I,
mine to-
Lon, am I out in left field here, or?
That is correct.
Okay,
We'll maintain it, we'll grade it, and we'll keep it up to snuff.
That's,
until
I
the
mean,
end of
that's
the
all I
project.
want.
So-
You know, I hate that it had to come all the way up here and miss a kid's ball game over it, but like I said, I just want easy access. And, you know, when I call and say, hey, look, you know, it's washed out, and then I'm told the construction company ain't gonna do it, and there's no mention of, hey, you know, we'll take care of it, or, I mean, it kinda leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
well, I mean, I think we're squared away now. I'm sorry that you've got a sour taste in your mouth of something that happened a few months ago. But I don't intend on going backwards trying to, you know,
Correct. I mean-
rehash that, so,
Like I said, that's all I want is
okay.
help, you know, keeping it smoothed out, when it washes out, and like I said, once the project's over, it's mine to take care of.
Well, hopefully there won't be any more problems. Lon is your contact in the event that there are, and I mean, you know, feel free to reach out to him, and, we'll roll from there.
Okay,
Sounds good. Appreciate your time.
thanks.
Any other new business? Entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we can all disappear. Thank y'all very much.
I think we need to chase that blood sugar. A little deeper. You know, her family. She gets bad.
Well, on the first electric center, I didn't know,
I don't know that blood
just
sugar,
doubling.
Randy Jones is gonna be